goes like this.
Hey, I'm Peter Franson from christiangeekcentral.com and Spirit Blade Productions. Welcome to Trial and Error, where I play the first part of a game or a game demo, usually do that pretty badly, and give you my thoughts along the way. This time I'm taking a look at Neverwinter Nights Enhanced Edition for the PlayStation 4. Now, this is going to be an interesting one for me because I've actually played this game before. I've played it a lot on PC when it was released years ago. It's actually one of my favorite video games of all time on any platform. And I'm really interested to see what the port is going to be like specifically to consoles. I haven't even played the Enhanced Edition before, but the thing I'm most interested in is not the updates or enhancements to the graphics and stuff, but more to the, what they do with the user interface, how they translate this really pointy, clicky, super duper PC style game to a console gamepad user interface experience. I'm also interested to know whether or not there's still access to the console commands. One of the things I really loved about the original Neverwinter Nights was if I ran into a difficulty spike either in an officially produced campaign or one of the many campaigns produced by users over the years, which was very often done in this game. If I ran into a difficulty spike or something, I was like, that's not quite balanced the way I want, then I could open up the console and I could just level up my character 1 or 2 times and then just keep going and have the kind of experience that I want to have. Or even dip into, in those rare instances, God mode for a little bit if there was one boss that I was just like, I'm kind of tired of this boss fight and I don't want to, stop and just figure out what the perfect tactical thing would be, and I just want to kind of keep the flow going here. So those console commands really gave me a lot of options, and I haven't heard anything about them being available on the console version of the game, ironically. So I'm wondering what it will be like if those are not present, if it'll still be enjoyable to me without that flexibility. And of course, I'm also assuming that we're not going to be able to have access to the many, many, many user mods and campaigns and adventures created by users over the years, which will be a real shame. And so I've really kind of been hesitant to add this to my library. I think there's a good chance that I will just be selling this, after trying it out. But we'll see. I really love this type of game. I love the real-time with pause aspect of the combat that is, very much an artifact of this time period, the late 90s, early 2000s with Baldur's Gate and Icewind Dale and stuff, and Neverwinter Nights. And it's really been kind of phased out of a lot of games, going either to a full-on action style of RPG combat or a full-on turn-based, grid-based like Divinity Original Sin and stuff like that. But my sweet spot is really this real-time with pause combat that only a few games like, say, Pillars of Eternity are carrying the torch for. So I'm looking forward to getting back into this and hopefully having a cool experience on gamepad, which is really my preferred way of playing video games these days. But can they reproduce some of the best of what this experience was on a console with a gamepad? We'll see. Here we go. Okay, so they do have difficulty settings. Very difficult, D&D hardcore rules, normal, easy. So I'll go with easy. It's nice they still have the multiplayer option. I don't have a PlayStation Plus subscription. I don't like playing games online with other people, but I think it's cool that they have that available. So let's see. It includes the original Neverwinter Nights campaign, Shadows of Undrentide, Hordes of the Underdark. Those are 2 full-length game expansions, and then Premium Neverwinter Night. Darkness over Daggerford. That's a great, if I remember correctly, full-length expansion that I played on PC. Really nicely done, too. It was made by a group of guys that were working, I believe, at BioWare, but the module was never actually published, and so they finished it after the fact and released it later. So that's nice. That's like another full campaign. Kingmaker, that's a short little thing. Pirates of the Sword Coast, that's more lengthy. Shadowguard Witch's Wake, I think both of those are pretty short. I can't remember. Wyvern Crown of Cormyr, that's a little bit more beefy, but not like a full length still. I'd say Darkness over Daggerford and Shadows and Hordes are pretty full length. Other modules. I think these are just the ones that came with the Diamond Edition. I don't see any potential to get user-created modules in here. That's a bummer. Well, we'll just do the standard Neverwinter Nights campaign for now. And create a new character! I'm surprised that the text still has a little bit of jaggies in some cases, but I'm guessing that's the trade-off for blowing up the text a little bit, which I'm grateful they did. I'll gladly take jaggies in the text if it's a little bit more readable on a TV screen compared to a PC monitor. There's a nice variety of portraits here, still not quite what I'm looking for the character I have in mind, so I'll go with something a little more symbolic. So this is using like the D&D 3 or 3.5 edition rules. I'm gonna play an evil wizard! Let's see, lots of choices for building out your stats. I think I'll just go with the recommended for a wizard. That's a nice feature. Wow, these are your skin color options. My gosh, that's great. I forgot how how many different choices you had. Look at that, you can have like a crazy Silver Surfer metallic skin option. That's really cool. I mean, sure, the models are looking pretty blocky now, but the textures have been given a nice update, so that helps. Boy, there are really a nice boatload of head options here. Only 2 body type options, kind of bulky and standard. Now this is great. You have all these voice options that will be queued up every now and then in combat, or usually in combat. I'm not sure if there are any other situations that it usually shows up. And I love it because they don't voice all the dialogue. And because they don't voice all of your dialogue, and you're just going to be reading text for most of your dialogue, then they can have a much wider variety of character voices for battle when you're calling out things in battle cries and things like that. And so in those moments when my character's voice is heard, I'm much more likely to be able to select a voice type for them that represents the very particular type of character I want to play. And I would much prefer that in modern games. Unfortunately, you know, the Bethesda BioWare way these days is to have one voice that's kind of middle of the road bland, that doesn't, you know, isn't nasty, isn't super heroic, isn't anything other than just kind of standard vanilla.
I want to see suffering.
There we go. That's the one. So they give you the option to choose a deity, but they make you enter a name, so you really would have to know something about D&D lore, or just make up your own deity or whatever if you wanted to. So it looks like they're not really pushing the, you know, that side of the lore. But Elderast is bitter. He's bitter. If the gods exist, he plans to rise up, build his power, and kill them all. So no deity for him. Here we go. Oh, wow. Oh, this is already really interesting to be controlling the game like this. Moving the camera and... wow. Okay, so it basically auto-highlights things and then you can interact with them by pressing X. Switch tabs in your inventory by clicking L3 or R3. Radial menu. Very nice. When you have as much talent and skill as I do, you get used to these kind of honors. See, I'd rather do that. I'd rather do that. Instead of, when you have as much talent as I do. Okay, so in the inventory, if I want to equip something, I have to, let's see, X for pickup, and then I kind of have to use either the left stick or the directional pad to kind of go up, 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 and get it to where I want it, and then X again to drop it. That's a little bit more cumbersome than I would like. I would like a button that just kind of auto-equips. Oh, okay, yeah, so just by pressing the up or down directional buttons on the pad, I can zoom in or out. So if I want more of like the PC zoomed out experience, I can have it. That's nice. I think, honestly, the game looks better zoomed out to this level. I like this effect they've added that keeps the camera angle from getting in the way of seeing your character. That's really nice. I don't know if that's just been added to the console versions or if that was in the PC, what do you call this? The Enhanced Edition.
Wait, what was that? We are under attack! Destroy the invaders!
Oh, Familiar's dead. There we go.
I must speak with you. I must speak with you.
I must loot everything.
Your remains shall decorate my home.
Yeah! That's the kind of nasty bad guy I'm playing. I mean, there's a lot going on here in terms of skills and stuff like that, and thankfully they do, you know, give you an explanation of each of these things, but it's a deep game. It's about as deep as the Dungeons & Dragons RPG. And there aren't a ton of those outside of Pillars of Eternity, Divinity Original Sin, so I can definitely see there being a market for this, especially players that never played this on PC. And yet, compared to those newer games, it definitely still has some, not just graphically, you know, some dated aspects to it, but just some clunkiness, some little, like, moments where I can see the seams in the audio looping for the atmosphere of a dungeon, that area that I'm in. Or doors will take a little longer to open. Some things are just a little bit slow, a little bit sluggish, that I think, for the most part, developers have ironed out, especially, you know, for console games. So all in all, if I were to try so far to step outside of myself and my past love for this game on PC, I would say that it feels to me so far like a really good game that I would be surprised to pay as little as $20 for, but that price point would still feel about right to me. $20 to $30. Not more than $30. And why it launched with a physical edition is, that seems more like a collector item to me. I don't think you can even get it on the PlayStation Store as of today, December 3rd, when it launched physically. Let me double check. Okay, I checked and you can get this digitally on the PlayStation Store, but it's $50, physical or digital. And for $50, just a number of weeks ago, is also Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 Enhanced Edition. And when you're jumping back this far in time, I mean, it's not that big of a gap. Both this game and the Baldur's Gate games are going to seem dated in different ways, but dated enough that you're going to have to forgive it about the same amount for its graphical presentation. And so that being said, there's a ton more gameplay that you get out of the box, as it were, if you get the Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 Enhanced Editions. Well, I take that back, because each of those is one campaign, whereas this one comes with 1, 2, 3, 4 campaigns. Okay, I can see the value then. Even so, man, it's the price tag seems a bit high. I would rather be given the option to buy this thing for like just $20 with only the base campaign, and then they offer those other campaigns as like $10 or $15 DLC campaigns. For the various issues that date this thing, yeah, that seems a bit high for me. I'm also bummed, you know, it seems like a major oversight, but this collection does not come with Infinite Dungeons, which was one of the last, if not the last, DLCs that was sold for Neverwinter Nights. And Infinite Dungeons was an infinite dungeon generator. Now, arguably, there's a fan version that does the same thing and maybe does it better. It's up to, you know, your personal preference. But if you're not going to allow me to download other users' content and play their campaigns, then I think you at least ought to include Infinite Dungeons in this set. Gosh, now that seems like a major oversight to me. Like, for me, I've played all those other campaigns. I don't really have a drive to want to play them again. But a random dungeon generator? I mean, I don't play these things for story anyway. That's the last version of this game I was playing on PC was the Infinite Dungeons mod. Or Infinite Dungeons DLC. Infinite Dungeons could get me back into this on console, and I would be content to not, you know, be able to buy anybody else's, you know, adventures. But when I come from playing this on PC, and I have just this finite number of campaigns that I've already played, this just might not be meant for players like me. It's a shame. I do like the user interface so far. It feels, you know, pretty natural. I guess more natural than I would expect. Ooh, Wand of Fire. Yeah, we want that for sure. All right, getting the hang of like how to fill in quick slots and stuff like that. And there's a tutorial you can access anytime to figure it out. It's a I went through something similar when I was playing Pillars of Eternity for the first time on console after having played it already on PC, that there was kind of an adjustment to be made. But I think similar to that game, once I've played this on console for a while, I would kind of develop some muscle memory of like the button sequences I need to press. Okay, like L2, highlight, square, and then, go through, much more quickly what I need to do in order to customize my quick slots. All right, let me just try something. Yeah, I've got a keyboard that is compatible with PlayStation 4, but it doesn't seem to have any interaction. Like I can't do the usual button presses to bring up the debug mode, the cheat menu and stuff, so it doesn't seem like there's any way to use the usual codes in the PlayStation 4 version of this game, even if you have a keyboard that works with PlayStation 4. If somebody else can show that to not be the case, then please let me know, and check the notes for the video, and I will be sure to update them, because that'll make a huge difference in my perception of this game and my feelings about it. Yeah, I'm liking this user interface for the gamepad, and it does run more smoothly in terms of frame rate than the one on my computer, which is not even the enhanced edition. But I think I'd still take the one on my computer over this. I don't even need to play past the introductory encounter. There's tons, if you wanted to see more of this game, there are tons of reviews, tons of content available online to check out the depths of this campaign and get opinions on that. I mainly wanted to get on here and share the things that were important to me that I feel like many reviews are unlikely to touch on. And that is the nature of the port issues, like the cheats. Can you access the console commands? No, you cannot. What's the gamepad UI like? Pretty good, a little bit clunky, maybe will take some getting used to, but similar to Pillars of Eternity on console, I think that I've already started to kind of get used to that. So, and I do love the opportunity to play a game like this, even this specific game, with a gamepad and a gamepad UI. Man, I really wish that they would bring this UI to the PC. I really don't think they will. No mods. No user-created adventures, no user-created campaigns, not even Infinite Dungeons, which is an official release. It's not included on here. The description on Amazon.com, if you buy this on Amazon.com, currently has an error in it. It says that it includes Infinite Dungeons, and it does not. If it included Infinite Dungeons, even without cheats and without mods, I would buy this for $20 because I enjoyed the UI that much, and I would be able to experience things I hadn't ever experienced before while playing one of my favorite games. But I'm so familiar with this game. I'm plenty familiar with these campaigns. I'm not like a big, graphics connoisseur, and honestly, I think even if you are, there's not a ton of difference between this and even the standard edition, the pre-enhanced edition version of Neverwinter Nights. There are mods that you can get to upgrade the textures and stuff for free. I'm struggling to see the value in the $50 price tag for this on PS4 with all of the limitations. As much as I love this game, it's one of my favorite games. It's in my top 5 games of all time. And I'm struggling to see the value here. You can go to GOG.com, and I just checked today, the regular price is $20 for this game, and you can get Infinite Dungeons. That's also going to come with all the 3 campaigns and stuff, in this, and you can add on Infinite Dungeons for $3. And then there's hundreds of mods and adventures, and many of which are just as good, if not better, than those professionally created by the original makers of the game. Now, if you're someone who, like me, just really, really prefers playing with a gamepad, I feel you. I'm with you on this. I will almost always say no to a game, and I'll say, give me a gamepad with a gamepad UI, or I am not interested. And if that's you, and you've never played this game before, then I do think there is a good amount of value here. But gosh, if you can just make one exception and play keyboard and mouse with Neverwinter Nights, there is so much more value in getting this on PC. With no cheats, even as nice as the gamepad UI is and the smoothed out, frame rate that I'm experiencing compared to my PC version, which, many people aren't experiencing, I'm sure, on their PC versions. No cheats, no mods, no infinite dungeons, and a $50 price tag. I wouldn't even want this for $20, even $15 or $10. But that's me. I've already gotten way more fun than I have any right to expect out of Neverwinter Nights on PC. I would say even if you are like just diehard, there's no way I'm playing with keyboard and mouse, and I get that, I respect that. I would still wait for a price cut on this. I think $50 for today, what we've come to expect. I mean, Pillars of Eternity is going to be a better gameplay experience if you've never played a game like this before with real-time with pause, or Final Fantasy XII, the Zodiac Age on PS4, that's also a real-time with pause game. A little bit different, but still real-time with pause, and a deep, rich, huge, awesome experience with a wonderful up-res for PlayStation 4, as is with the current lack of features and options and the price point of $50. I just don't know who in the world I would recommend this game to. Now, if you're a Christian and you kind of raised your eyebrows when I started playing an evil character and you're wondering, oh, how does he square that with being a Christian and with the teaching of the Bible? Then I've got a video for you. I will try to link to it below, the video version of this content called Can Christians Be Evil in Games? Where I take an in-depth dive that endeavors to be thoughtful and biblical, responding to that question, so I hope you'll check that out. That's all of my thoughts. I would love to get yours in the comments below. Do you love this game? Do you have any history with it? Are you scratching your head like, this is weird, I've never played a game like this before? Wherever you're at, I'd love to get your reactions to this game and to my review. That's all I have to say for now. I hope you join us soon over at christiangeekcentral.com as we continue to geek out and seek the truth.